Have you ever found yourself thinking about someone long after they were gone? Maybe months have passed. Maybe years. You tell yourself you miss them. You wonder if they were the one. You replay conversations, revisit old photos, and imagine what life might have looked like if things had turned out differently. But what if the person you miss isn't actually them? What if the hardest thing to let go of isn't another human being, but the person you used to be when they were part of your life? That may sound strange at first. But psychology suggests that our closest relationships don't simply become memories. They become part of the way we understand ourselves. And sometimes, what we're grieving isn't just the loss of another person. We're grieving the loss of an identity. Think back to the happiest moments in that relationship. What do you remember first? Their face? Their voice? Or is it something less obvious? Perhaps it's the way you laughed more easily. The confidence you felt when they looked at you. The excitement of believing the future held endless possibilities. Maybe you remember feeling more spontaneous. More hopeful. More alive. Notice something. Many of these memories aren't really about them. They're about you. About the version of yourself that only seemed to exist when they were there. Psychologists have long understood that our sense of self isn't fixed. It grows and changes through relationships, experiences, and the stories we tell about our lives. One idea known as self-expansion theory suggests that close relationships often become part of our identity. When we deeply connect with someone, we don't simply share time together. We begin to include pieces of that person in the way we see ourselves. Their dreams influence our dreams. Their routines become our routines. Their approval shapes our confidence. Without realizing it, our identity quietly expands. This isn't weakness. It's part of being human. Love doesn't only connect to people. It reshapes two identities. Now imagine what happens when that relationship ends. People often describe heartbreak as feeling empty. But perhaps empty isn't the best word. Perhaps it's more accurate to say, something familiar has disappeared. Not just a person. A way of existing. A version of yourself that suddenly no longer has a place to live. That's why moving on can feel so confusing. You may understand, logically, that the relationship wasn't healthy. You may even know it had to end. And yet your emotions seem unwilling to catch up. Because emotions don't organize themselves like arguments. They organize themselves through experience. Another reason relationships remain so vivid lies in the way memory works. Our autobiographical memories are not recordings stored in perfect detail. They're reconstructed. Every time we remember the past, we rebuild it from fragments. Facts. Emotions. Sensations. Meaning. Over time, our minds often preserve the emotional highlights while softening the ordinary moments. We remember the warmth of a hand. The excitement of waiting for a message. The feeling of belonging. We forget the uncomfortable silences. The misunderstandings. The ordinary Tuesdays that weren't magical at all. Memory is less like a camera. It's more like an editor. And editors have a habit of creating beautiful stories. This is where many people become trapped. They believe they're searching for someone else. When, in reality, they're searching for a feeling. The feeling of being chosen. The feeling of being safe. The feeling that life made sense. Those feelings became connected to a particular chapter of their life. So every time they think about that person, their mind quietly opens the entire chapter. Not just the character. The whole story. There's another idea from psychology that can help explain this. Researchers studying narrative identity suggest that we make sense of our lives by building stories about who we are. We don't simply remember events. We remember what those events meant. Perhaps your relationship became the chapter where you learned to trust. Or the chapter where you finally believed you were lovable. Or perhaps it became the chapter where you lost yourself. Whatever story your mind attached to that relationship, letting go of the person can feel like letting go of the story itself. And human beings rarely surrender their stories easily. So how do you move forward? Not by pretending those years never happened. Not by forcing yourself to stop remembering. Healing isn't the destruction of memory. It's the reconstruction of identity. Ask yourself a different question. Instead of asking, why can't I stop missing them? Try asking, what part of myself did I discover while I was with them? Was it your courage? Your kindness? Your curiosity? Your ability to dream? If those qualities truly belonged to you once, why would they belong to someone else now? Perhaps the relationship revealed those parts of you, but it did not create them. They are still yours, waiting to be lived again. In different places, with different people, or even alone. One day, without realizing it, you'll think about them again. But something will be different. The memory will no longer pull you backward. It will simply remind you of someone you used to be. Not someone you need to become again. Because you've already begun becoming someone new. A version of yourself that carries the lessons, without carrying the weight. Perhaps that is what healing really means. Not forgetting the past. Not denying that someone once mattered. But recognizing that no relationship owns your identity forever. People enter our lives. Some stay. Some leave. But the person you're becoming, is still being written. And maybe, that story is only just beginning.